Most gems are pulled from the earth, but pearls are different. See, they're grown by living organisms, giving them a natural sheen that's impossible to fake. This 2009 iMac is no different. At the time of their production, most other all-in-one personal computers were made primarily of plastic. They'd look completely out of date on your desk today. But not this. It still oozes elegance. In 2009, this was desktop luxury, a seamless slab of glass and aluminium. However, fast forward to today, for only £10, I inherited a 17-year-old device from a forgotten past. It's an iMac that's seen better days, but I think its best days are still ahead. Today we're taking this iMac from clunky to current. These specific units were only available for 7 months, from the beginning of March 2009 until the end of October that very same year. They came in 3 different flavors, all sharing the same model number. Checking the serial number on this unit shows it's the entry-level model. A 2.66 GHz CPU, 4 GB of RAM, and a 640 gig hard drive. So in short, it kind of sucks now. 4 gig of RAM and a mechanical hard drive is like trying to run a marathon in flip-flops. But there is a secret weapon, that screen primarily made by LG. With a screen at 1920 by 1200, it's actually higher resolution than many budget laptops sold today. But will the hardware upgrade be enough to make that screen actually usable? Or will the processor choke? The first step is to upgrade the system with more RAM and an SSD. But before we touch the internals, we have to address the biohazard. This PC may look okay on screen, but the keyboard and mouse look like the previous owner was scratching his butt crack before using these peripherals. Honestly, I fear I may need something stronger than the cleaning liquids I'm about to use. Multi-purpose cleaner first, then heavy isopropyl alcohol. But as I'm scrubbing, I'm wondering, if the outside was treated this badly, what am I going to find inside? Is the dust build-up enough to slow the fans down, or am I worrying for no reason at all? Now that we can touch it without catching a disease, let's open it up. We're swapping that ancient grinding hard drive for a modern SSD and maxing out the RAM. Hardware upgrades here are non-negotiable. You have to be extra careful with this screen. Remove the screws with full concentration, otherwise one slip and that nice screen is gone. I'm also checking the CPU and GPU thermal paste. We aren't changing the chip out today given the level of work this machine actually will be doing, but we need to ensure everything is seated and cooled properly. Doubling the memory to 8 gig, I snagged this Reinstalling RAM on eBay for £13.50. Next, the hard drive is actually going to be replaced. This eBay SSD was just £10. At that price, it's a 50-50 gamble of it working smoothly, but it'll definitely be better than the old hard drive. People often forget that these machines were built to be serviced. Unlike the glued shut sandwiches Apple sells today, this is the living organism part of the pearl. You can actually work on it. Opening up a 2009 iMac is like stepping into a time capsule. But after more than 15 years, the original thermal paste inside is almost certainly cooked. I'm doing a deep dive into the motherboard to restore the machine's cooling efficiency. As you can see, the factory compound has turned into a crusty, solidified barrier. Instead of transferring heat, it's probably actually trapping it. To fix this, we're using isopropyl alcohol. It breaks down the hardened silicon binders without leaving conductive residue behind. We'll let it saturate for a moment and gently wipe the CPU die clean until we have a pristine, reflective surface ready for our new Arctic MX6 compound. Now, to actually get to the GPU heatsink, there's a bit of a roadblock. The Wi-Fi card sits directly in the way, so we need to carefully unseat it and tuck the delicate antenna cables aside. With that clear, we face the trickiest part, the clipped heatsink. These plastic tension clips have been subjected to intense heat cycles for well over a decade, making them incredibly brittle. Take your time here. Apply slow, even pressure to release them. If you rush and snap a clip, the heatsink won't sit flush, and the chip will overheat. With the heatsink safely removed, we expose the NVIDIA graphics chip. Just like the CPU, the old paste here is completely petrified, but we're deploying the isopropyl alcohol again, using a nano cleaning sponge to patiently dissolve the crust from both the shiny die and the surface of the heatsink. Now comes the jigsaw puzzle, getting the logic board back into the aluminium housing. Before you lower it completely, take a second to look underneath. The inside of this chassis is packed with delicate ribbon cables and sensor wires that naturally want to fall backward. Care is needed here to ensure every single cable is pulled safely out of the way so the board doesn't accidentally catch or pinch them. As you seat the board onto its alignment pins, don't force it. If it doesn't pop in smoothly, a hidden wire is likely trapped beneath. Apply only gentle, even pressure. Forcing it down can easily crush a connector or crack the PCB, turning a simple maintenance job into a permanent headache. But before the glass goes back on, we need to fix those loose frame magnets. I'll be using some Gorilla Superglue gel here. A dab of strong adhesive locks them back into place, ensuring the screen stays firmly secured and perfectly aligned. Getting the front aluminium cover back on is all about alignment. Line up the bottom edge first, then let it drop over, flush against the chassis. When it comes to the screws, here's a trick. Don't tighten any of them down completely until every single screw is threaded. This keeps the frame from warping out of alignment and ensures everything clamps down perfectly even. With the frame secure, the final step is popping the front glass panel back into position. The very last step is sliding our 2 short sticks of RAM into the bottom slots until they click, then fastening down the metal cover plate. With that screw secured, our hardware refresh is officially completed. While we focus a lot on the inside of the computer, keeping your keyboard and mouse clean is just as vital. Over time, these surfaces collect a nasty mix of skin cells, hair, food crumbs, natural body oils, and even feces. Worse, if they aren't actually sanitized, peripherals can harbor high levels of bacteria like E. coli. Taking a moment to wipe them down with disinfectant doesn't just protect your health, it stops that grime from gumming up the switches and extending the life of your gear. I used 100% pure acetone to clean the mouse and keyboard, just to take the shine off of it. I think it looks a little bit classy with that matte look. Now for the point of this whole video, loading the files onto a USB key for this to work. This iMac is trapped in an apple-shaped dead end, but we're breaking it out by swapping the slow, outdated Mac OS for Linux Mint. It's the ultimate brain transplant for a machine Apple wants you to forget. Be patient, as this process of installation is slow. It will eventually work, but the install will take time. Go make yourself a cup of tea and check back regularly whilst the install takes place. Unbelievably, almost every driver, loaded out of the box, and that 1920 by 1200 LG panel is finally being fed a signal it deserves. It feels much better, it feels young again. It's not all sunshine and open source roses though. The Broadcom Wi-Fi driver still needs installing. It does seem that this old hardware is working hard, but remember, it is 17 years old. Getting the Broadcom Wi-Fi card to talk to Linux, that took a few minutes and a bit of caffeine. You're not just installing an app, you're performing a soul transplant. But persevere, it wasn't all that bad. It's only a few lines of updates and we were good. For a grand total of £33.50, we've rescued a piece of history. Using Linux on an SSD transformed this relic into a snappy, reliable workstation. It browses the web fine, plays 1080p YouTube, and looks better than any plastic PC from its time. See, saving a machine from the bin isn't just a win for the planet, it's a win for your wallet as well. You don't always need to buy new to get better. Sometimes you just need a little curiosity and maybe a £10 budget to find it. Before you spend a fortune on something new, look for the forgotten pearls. You'll save money, keep a masterpiece out of the landfill, and build something uniquely yours. Don't let the obsolete label fool you. Go find your own pearl.